Hold up. Something is very wrong. I'm getting ads today. What happened to my ad blocker? Uh, huh? Since when was this? This is like literally just today. Managed extensions. Details. Okay. Like I will straight up go snag something else. Like YouTube has enough money and makes enough money off of my content so they can deal. All right. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Add to Firefox. Add. Do it. Hi, thank you. Okay. Let's see what that does if I refresh this. I am I'm having a day. I'm having a day. It's been Hi, hello everyone. I'm so glad that we're still on the countdown screen and not actually into the stream yet. Oh, jeez. And we'll get into that. I don't want to like jump into this with that energy, and that's why I'm like trying to take a minute and sit back and do some art. As you can kind of see in the background when the rainbows aren't in the way, but that's literally how my vision behaves on the everyday. So you folks get a little taste of what it's like to have my visual stow, my visual blurring, and the constant nonstop rainbow shifting, because those are all things that I have. Persistent hallucination disorder, or PhD, is not a joke. There's so much I want to do to edit this puppy. She's so cute. I really want to get to a point where I could use like all the tracking that's there inherently without having to wear my headsets. Like Mocapi actually does seem like it would be really good for this explicit purpose, and I would love to mess around with that in the future. Especially now that I know that like they're paying attention to their target audience and making edits and updates along the way accordingly. Like, good for them. In other tech news today, found out that the Nofio trackers for the index, basically the device that you need to plug into the front of your index if you want to make it into a wireless headset. Not tetherless, but wireless. So you still get to be connected to your computer over your wireless connection to your router. But you no longer have to be plugged directly into the machine, meaning that you can operate off of a battery pack. For people that are using full body solutions like the Index, this is going to be a game changer. It's actually literally going to change the way that a lot of people play games, the way that they interact with games, because there's a constant subconscious shift that you have to make when you are tethered, when you're physically tethered at least. And the same goes for the Quest 2. If you're operating it as desktop VR and you're not using either AirLink or an aftermarket product, you have to constantly adjust for there being a cable attached to you. This changes the way that you move as a human. You don't crouch the same, you don't jump the same, you don't run the same. And obviously you're not crouching, jumping, and running all in VR yet, but we want to get to a point where you can, where that's normal. Tonight might actually end up being a bit of a just chatting stream. I have so much on my mind. But I guess that's also the point. I am the talkie dog. And I can talk while playing Metroid. Yep, borked. Borked is a good way to put it. I'm really borked off. Bork you! You two are adorable. Thank you so much for both being here. Um, hello? Computer? Yeah, that's not concerning at all. My entire screen just went black. Like, not the, Ooh, that's spooky. Yeah, I don't know what just happened there. That actually concerns me. That wasn't just like the software going black, that was the entire screen. Like, just turned itself off on the onboard laptop screen. We're haunted. We're haunted. That's what it is. We're haunted. We are close to the time of year when we're close to the ghosts, and That's all I can say. That's the best I can assume. That's the best that I can hope for. I don't know. Reality isn't real, and everything is false, and speed trip and nihilism, as as Sinful said. Oh, that's okay then. Yeah, ghosts. Ghosts isn't a serious problem or anything. Ghosts are normal, right? Ghosts are natural. Those happen all the time. Those are a normal thing, right? Right? Yeah, right. Right? Okay. Let's turn down the concerningly appropriative music. Cool. All right. I know the two of you that are currently in the chat, like, don't believe them, so they're not real. Good. That works. The two of you that are currently in chat, I know are already aware of the situation, but for those that are watching the VODs and missed out on other news and whatnot going on, today marks the day where for the last 3 weeks I've been trying to get the VODs up to date so that we could have episodes 26 through 55, which is roughly all the Diablo 4 content, spliced together, because there was a lot of production error problems during the recording where we had so many disconnects that a bunch of VODs are split into like 2 or 3 or in some cases 7 parts. And I did what I could to work on that, and I have run every possible change I can in the way that I go about splicing together my videos and putting these VODs together, and I can't fix it. I'm sorry, folks, but I just lost 19 episodes of your show, and it's... I stopped working on other stuff and have just been working on that and trying to, like, stay sane pretty much nonstop for the last 3 weeks, and it hasn't worked. It's been a process, and it hasn't worked, and I have all those stored still, like off-system, cold storage, so that I can come back to them if I'm able to figure out what it was that I did wrong, or if for some reason they're just corrupt and I can somehow fix that. I don't know. And the thing is, like, I used to do data recovery, and I've seen what happens when you have hardware issues, like a drive just outright crapping out, or when you record something and the internet goes out, or the power goes out, or your system overheats, or any number of the other issues that I was running across at the time. And so it's very difficult when coming back to each of these episodes and knowing that each one potentially has a different issue going on. But I posted the screenshots in my announcements page earlier of the 7 in a row that failed as my final attempt today, with my final iteration on attempting to resolve this. And finally I said, we're done. I'm not going to keep trying to push this cart down the road if it's not going to go. The horse is dead, and this cart's not going anywhere. Pick up the luggage and go. So, for those that care about the older VODs, there's going to be a major jump from episode 26 to 45, then from 45 to 50 or something like that. And it's for the better. Honestly, a lot of the content that was recorded during that time was an absolute train wreck. So there will be a noticeable shift in quality for the better, but it's gonna take me a while to, like, let that go. It was a big reason for, like, why this channel got started back up when it did. Like, I could have held off. I could have done other things and prepped myself and had my avatars ready, and everything that you see that's normal today here on episode 100 could have already been, or 95 in this case, could have already been stock and standard normal by then, because I was still working on all this behind the scenes long before I got on the air. It's just, I thought about quitting today. I hate to say that. There's that moment where, like, you just think about, I could go file a W-2 with Wendy's and run a 9 to 5 know what? I'm gonna change this. I'm I'm doing what I can to like keep my emotions level, but like this was a foundational part of the channel, and losing that content feels like an absolute failure. Like there's a part of who and what I am that like unhealthily has that strict honor code, and I feel as though I have dishonored myself, I've dishonored my channel, I've dishonored my family, my cow, my cow family. Um, I'm trying to get past that feeling, but it's affected basically the last 25 episodes because I just lost 4 weeks of stream. That was a lot of laughs and a lot of tears and a lot of everything in between, and it was quality content that showed who and what I am as a content creator. It showed how I adapt under extreme situations and how I'm able to survive and continue to try and stay in character because I'm a theater major and I put my hours in. That's why I do things the way I do. It should hurt, and I'm still hurting from it. It's why I'm not like immediately jumping into the game that I know is going to like make me feel better, but I kind of need to sit with some of this, and I need you folks to understand why it's hitting me a little hard. I messed up in a way that is upsetting to me fundamentally as both a creator and as a viewer, and I want to do better. I want to do better for each of you. I want to do better for myself. I want to do better for my portfolio and for my future self. I had just yeah. Sometimes it be like that. Let's see. I don't even think I did announcements today. Like I didn't do the whole cross posting thing, and I guess that works for the better in this case too, because I don't feel presentable. I don't feel like I can really do justice to my character that I've been trying to put together for so long, the character that I am and try to embody. And I get that she's just me, but it's that super self. It's the self beyond the self. It's the aggregate beyond the selves, especially in our cases. Yeah. All right. That being said, I don't need to dwell on that. It's just it's gonna be in the back of my head regardless of what we're doing. So I'm sorry if I'm a little down. We're gonna try and pick things up from here, but I had to get that off my chest. It's been weighing pretty heavy. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Oh, it does. I and I get the feeling that a lot of other folks feel that way too. That like they just want to see me out there and enjoying something. There are gonna be times that I want to play things with you folks that I explicitly don't enjoy, because I know that like sometimes it's worth it to have my perspective on something as well. That's a fundamental part of this experience, and as I was saying before, I'm a creator's creator. I'm not My target audience isn't necessarily like every 18 to 25-year-old that lives in the middle of the United States. It's the people out there that really don't fit into a niche normally, and Kind of need a weird spot to hang out and have some intelligent conversations sometimes. Cause like there's plenty of TikToks and memes out there, but I'm a long form kind of girl. That's just how I am. Visual Boy Advance, do you actually want to launch, or are we just looking at each other now? Are you waiting on me? What's going on here? Maybe OBS will detect you. Maybe. Hello, hello, hello. Is it detecting a different Visual Boy Advance instance each time? Let's see. Oh, hey, we're starting. We're getting somewhere. Full screen mode. There. Let's see if that actually does the thing. No. I sure do love when software behaves. Even that isn't working. Why? Oh. I guess try the other one. We got. Oh no, that's extra not what I want. It's like, yeah, broadcast to the other RTX port on here, and now it's trying to broadcast to the wrong. Oh, it's trying to broadcast to my TV. Why? Why is this our night? Why? 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 Please. 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 Okay. Is this seriously how I was playing this before? This might actually be. Oh yeah, that actually does appear to be delightful. Okay, cool. Transition. I think this is how I've been playing it. Oh my god. Did that just kill it? Did that just kill it? That just killed it. I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna scream. I just want to stream a game. That's all I want. That's all I want. I just want to stream a game. Hi. Hello. I'm the Sandwife. I'm the Green Glow Dog. I'm on the internet. I'm supposedly a professional. Supposedly. But right now, I'm feeling completely bonkers. Burn it all. Burn it all. Burn it all. Where the fuck is my game? Please. 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 Just show me my game. I hear you. I hear you in there. I hear you. I know you're there. What's the hotkey? Capture foreground window with hotkey. Oh, that ain't it. Okay. Fine. We're putting another instance of something in here. Is it going to be Visual Boy Advance or is it going to be Visual Boy Advance windowed? Who knows? Find out next time. And of course, it shows it way up there. Hook rate, RGB, capture overlays, limit capture frame rate, allow transparency. Allow transparency. I don't think that's it. Window. Specify. This. Hey, OBS, it's this. It's right here. It's right here. OBS, hey. Hey, OBS. That is absolutely not Visual Boy Advance, I assure you, OBS. That is Chatterino. Okay. It's a bit better. Okay. What if I do... Was that it? Was that it? Are we there? Oh. I think we did it. Oh, God. Please. Please. Yes. We're so close. We're so close. I'm so close. I'm so close. I'm so close right now. I'm so close. You tell how close I am? So close. Close to losing it. I lost. Wait a second. How am I only a half an hour into this? I don't even... What is happening? No, please don't engage sleep mode on this. That would... I don't even know what that would do. This is Fusion. Thank you. Jeez. I already forgot the command. Set game, not stream. Blah. Yeah, I don't know what game, how to set the alias for that, but I did find out the actual command was supposed to be set game. Bird bomb. Ah, I see you found my tags. Oh, you added it. Hell yeah. Oh. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, I fought that thing. Ah, I see. Did I ever go any other route here? No. Ah! Oh, I see somebody's been busy here. Alright. Ah, these things are growing. One sec. My screen has gone completely black again. Please no. Ah. Folks, I might not be able to stream tonight. There's been enough issues all at once. I don't. I'm trying. I'm trying. I do. I'm trying. Okay. We have a cursor again. It might be back. Re-added it. Must have been bugged. Okay. All right. I think. I think we're back. This is. Oh no. Did my. Did OBS die? Did GIMP die? What died? Hold on. All right, we're going to close DaVinci Resolve because that may actually be part of the issue here. And we're going to save every single little art project that we've got in place. You can hear me, but the stream is frozen. Okay, that is good info at least. That gives me a direction to go. Let's see. The VC phase. VC phase definitely died. Okay, save this. Save this. Don't save this. Save this. This. Save this. Holding. Warm. Save this. Save this. Close GIMP. Chat and SE overlay still working, but very delayed. No, that doesn't make any sense. That shouldn't be working. Okay. I do see them working though in the stream. My bitrate is also terrible. Let's nuke Discord. Let's find out what happened to VC Pace, which is still not allowing me to click on it. Hey, now she's gone. She's gone. She can't hurt me anymore. This may also be because I'm running off of an external camera. It's hard to say. Let's see. Boot this back up. And Metroid's still there, but Oh, we're having a party here. Okay, cool. That's back at least. Hi, hello, hi. I'm back. I'm here. I don't know what's going. Oh, it's because I nuked Discord. That would be why. Okay, let's put that away as well. I think we're here. I think we're here. I think we're back. I got so disheartened after everything else has collapsed while I've been trying to work today that, like, that one got to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. What a day. Yeah, it wasn't the game. OBS, like, stopped attempting to broadcast any changes to the screen whatsoever. And then it acted as though I had plugged in more than one video card. Not one connection, more than one video card live, which I know what that looks like because I've done IT. And I used to do break fix and I had access to horrible things. I saved myself the hassle and call it. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. If we have this happen again, I'm probably just gonna shut it down. It's not gonna be a rage quit. It's gonna be a tier quit. Heading back in here is going to result in me being attacked by the SAX. So I'm going to try and get to the data room instead. And we'll see what Adam has to say about it. Samus, we've got trouble. Releasing the security lock may have been a bad idea. The SAX have invaded the water environment in Sector 4. Aqua, with several thousand X. With the blue hatch is active, the SAX slipped in easily. The creatures and systems in Sector 4 are already showing multiple irregularities. I am currently investigating. I'll brief you in the navigation room when you arrive. Is your objective clear? Now head for Sector 4. That's interesting. So I can actually hang back and continue exploring the sector that I'm in, but the game will just let me kind of continue through. That's interesting, because I could have absolutely gotten into an encounter with her where she would have kicked my ass. And you can actually get, like, into a chase where she'll run after you from room to room to room, the way that the Emmy do in Metroid Dread later. The SAX, an enemy with my strongest abilities. But does it have reason? Probably not. It's just a killing machine. In my current state, I can't face it head on. The SAX is me, only heartless. I must stop it before it learns its potential and threatens the universe. Hey, lady, my mouth isn't open. Thank you. She's just gonna keep doing that, isn't she? Okay. I'm glad she's having a good night. This sector has taken more damage than expected. I knew the SAX were powerful, I knew the X creatures were powerful, but still, this seems to be purposeful. We certainly can't rule out the possibility the SAX has a high degree of intelligence. I find the X fascinating, especially this SAX, but I digress. This sector is home to a very large creature that researchers called Ceres. It is capable of moving and attacking at ultra-high speed. The more senseless and widespread destruction here may be attributable to Ceres. No doubt the SAX released it, but I can't be sure why yet. Ceres have returned often to the breeding tank here. Its natural behavior must be to go back to it periodically. It's a valuable specimen, but you've been authorized to terminate it. If you don't, it may invade other sectors. Is your objective clear? While you are moving, be careful. Some broken power nodes have electrified the water, but we cannot cut the power. Doing so would affect the whole station adversely. If you touch the water, you'll be electrocuted. Conserve energy as you go. Well, that sucks. Wow, my avatar tonight. She is, gonna drive me wild. All of these little crab guys in the background, just dancing around. In previously, you would find missiles as like a red door key throughout the series, but they never really get used for more than that, and like killing bosses, obviously killing Metroids, but in Fusion they actually get used as more of a keying system, in a way that I really enjoy. Like, some of the power-up progressions in this are very different from the previous Metroids, and it makes the abilities that she gets in Fusion and the abilities that she gets in Dread later a little more interesting, as far as like, these are the decisions that the Federation decided to make with the hardware that's available to her and that she has figured out, and like what she's been authorized to continue using, and the fact that they're able to digitally lock. I guess that they must be quantum locking selected parts of her suit at that point, since they figured out the fact that she has been effectively downloaded and stored. As I was saying previously, it means something else entirely for the legions of Chozo soldiers out there. Oh, this is only okay. Never mind. Like, are they also all quantum locked? Are they all just stored and at the ready to be unleashed on whatever's around them? Interesting. How do I get there? Hmm. I guess I didn't hold up long enough. Hmm. Huh. Okay. So, what's the point? Oh. I was like, what's the point? Well, I figured out what the point was. It was to heal. Good old Metroid healing tank, where they just fill a room full of monsters and you eat them all. Well, monsters. Aliens. I was ready to bail. Okay. Well, this looks interesting. What's in here? I see. Okay. Alright, looks like we found our way in. And you can see I was scanning earlier for various holes in the walls because, well, if I move out of the way here, you'll be able to see there's a hole in the wall. Let's see. Time to go destroy more wildlife for the sake of destroying wildlife. But it looks like that wildlife has already been destroyed. Time to go kill its ghost. The bubbles from the decomposition is like something else. So do you think the SAX killed that, or do you think that just some random parasite killed it? I hate that thing. Remember this guy? Because I sure as hell don't. I legit don't actually remember this fight, like, ever. God. The most annoying. Ow. This thing hates getting shot in the face with missiles. Yeah? What's up, core parasite? Kind of forgot how to fight these for a sec. And nearly didn't make it because of that. Okay. Speed booster power regained. Run until speed boost begins. So we got the zoomy boots before getting the gravity suit. I mean, you never know what you're gonna find out that you can do with the Shine Spark, so it's like you gotta look around. Let's go see. Nothing there. Okay. Water level lowered. Humanity restored. Well, have a good one, hon. I'll see you around. Red doors, huh? Well, the water level's been lowered by a certain amount. Let's see where else that'll let us get to then. Where could we not go before that we can now? Okay. Also, this marks one of the first times in a Metroid game where Samus is 2 blocks tall instead of 3. Let's get reloaded and see what Adam has to say. God, I gotta stop calling him that. It's too early in the story. So, Saris had been infected by the X2? Well, as a result, you recovered another ability. At this rate, you may be able to face the SAX yet. But that's still a ways off. HQ has more support data. This time it's missile upload data. You desperately need this, but the data room here is sealed with a level 4 lock, the highest security level. Let's avoid opening sensitive areas unless it's necessary. Also, the route to the data room in Sector 2 is blocked by still more SAX activity. I note a deliberate activity pattern, as if it is blocking your recovery intentionally. Samus, it looks like your best option is to download this in Sector 3, Pyro. You'll find the Pyrogenesis room, data room on your map after using a navigation room there. Is your objective clear? Now head for Sector 3. Thankfully, the X have not invaded this area yet. The data room here is sealed by yet another security hatch. In order to download, you must find the security room there and activate the level 2 hatches. This may allow the SAX and X parasites into the area, but we're left with no choice. Your recovery is our main goal. The data room is here. As I explained, security rooms can't be shown on the map. Be careful, Samus. You will see very violent organisms here. And avoid the ultra-heated areas. Your suit can't take such high temperatures yet, but we're working on it. Level 2 hatches are green. Release the lock and proceed to the data room for download. Super missile data is ready. Your firepower will triple. Is your objective clear? First, activate green hatches, then go to the data room. There are no ultra-heated areas on this route, so turn back if you enter one. Uh-huh. So what's over on the side of that? I'm gonna try a thing. I have ideas. Okay. Okay. I do not remember how to do a ball jump correctly. That sucks. All of Samus's missiles now, all of them are super missiles. All of them. Time to save. I forgot about those. This thing is so weird. So you'll note that this little robot actually has a living brain in it, which is the part that got infected on it. We're gonna go up instead. I see that you encountered a rogue security robot. You may destroy it if you meet it again. Your safety is vital. As to your brief, level 2 security locks are now open. So sectors 5 and 6 are now open. That means those sectors have likely been infiltrated by the X. They are much harder to stop than we initially suspected. Sector 5, Arctic, is sub-zero. You're still susceptible to cold from the vaccine side effects, so you'll take damage if you even set foot inside there. Avoid Sector 5 for now, but in the meantime, HQ is working on data to adjust your suit for extreme temperatures. Once we have the transmission, you can download it, but the X destroyed all the data rooms you've used so far. I no longer doubt their capacity for critical thought. You'll have to use the data room in the night habitat, Sector 6, Nocturne. Go to Sector 6 and access a navigation room there. Is your objective clear? Tread lightly, Samus. You are the only one who can do this. And the X may be much more dangerous than we know. Aw, the bombastic music. Incoming dispatch. Does Samus suspect anything? No, I do not think so. Good. Monitor her closely. Affirmative. Out. What does it mean? What does it mean? That's interesting that I could just go to Sector 5 right now. The various suit here is here from HQ ready to download. Get moving to a data room. But there's a problem. X from the Sub-Zero Sector Arctic are in Sector 6 Nocturne. And they've been changed by the cold. If you absorb one, you'll be frozen from within. This seems like a deliberate tactic. Once you download the various suit modifications, you'll be out of danger. Just be extremely careful until then. The Noct data room is here. Remember, avoid the blue X. Use your beam to stun them in order to get by. Be careful. They are hunting you actively now, Samus. And this area is very dark. Proceed with extreme caution. Remember these guys from Super Metroid? Hey there, Bucky. How's it going? Doing good? Just got out of the bath? Heck yeah. What is a giant robot arm here? I wonder what those are for. Hello! They're like Metroids, but they're icy. They're reverse Metroids. Oh no! Big scary. Wow, those hurt a lot. What? Wow! Yep, try again. Ugh. God, it looks like I'm about to sneeze. A lot of energy tanks I'm finding. Guess who's here? Well, she's definitely going to use her gifts over here. That is terrifying. So I had full health with extra energy tanks, and she just blasted right through those. That's how much damage she does to Metroids. Nice. Full everything. Whoa, hey, hi, hello? Hello? Oh, bloody hell. You're a super immune parasite with the ability to resist heat and cold. Congratulations, you're so powerful. Everybody loves you. But you're not immune to radiation, which my beam weapons happen to be. Various suit effect recovered. Survive extreme temperatures. Do it now. Now she's a traditional Metroid's colors. I never really noticed that before. That's cute. Now you're just a bunch of snacks. Further showing off the adaptability of the Metroids, they start to run from you now. The Metroids, the X-Parasites. And they try to morph into the puff bloats or whatever they're called. Green glow shrooms, just like me. Jeez. How did that X download the various suit data? This doesn't seem to make any sense at all, unless the X had the ability to process data organically. At any rate, you have the various suit data. Now you'll be protected from extreme temperatures. More importantly, the SAX will no longer be able to freeze you, so you can escape easier. But you're still too weak. That thing is too much for you. You currently have no way of damaging it. My simulations indicate that a penetrating weapon like the plasma beam might work. Developing modification data will take HQ some time, though. There's also a chance you may be able to restore your plasma beam by absorbing a large core X like you did with the charge beam function. As for restoring ice beam functionality, I doubt it. Your current cellular makeup would reject that addition. Therefore, HQ has developed an ice missile upgrade. This will add a freezing effect to your missiles. It will help. Go to Sector 5 Arctic for the download. Didn't... Alright. They said everyone that I'd gone to so far. Hey there, Ryan Gosling. Cheers. You need to download data for the ice missile upgrade, but as you might expect, the data room here is secured. Level 3 security hatches are yellow. Release the security lock and download data as usual. Experiment with those new missiles. They will be helpful. Is your objective clear? You know what to do. Go to it. He's like getting less and less and less professional about it. They're so goopy. Whoa, forgot about you guys. I don't understand what this room's for. Does this area get... Oh, I see. It does get closed off because speed boost blocks go away and then it comes back. Also, actually seeing the little crocodile things like in detail outside of Metroid 1 is really neat. I actually do really enjoy that. Found security room? Everything is false. Okay. Huh. Not enough. Okay. Once I have the ice missiles, though, that'll be different. I guess this is probably going to be a fight I should be concerned about and all that. And that's why they give me the save room. But I don't have to like it. Not one bit. Unlock everything! Don't give security codes to the user. Just unlock everything! Hmm. Alright. Ice missile. Messed that up. Take two. Some of the puzzles in Metroid games are something else. What do we got here? Another save room. Hmm. Well, I messed that up. I have to wait for this one to defrost. You're kidding me. Mhm. Bloody hell.
Emergency in Sector 3. 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 Emergency in Sector 3.
Emergency in Sector 3, Pyre. The area could melt down soon. It seems the main boiler's cooling unit is malfunctioning. This could easily destroy the entire research station, as it would likely trigger the auto-destruct explosives. We have about 6 minutes. Hurry to Sector 3 and access the control system to the side of the main boiler room. Most of the systems in Pyre are down because of this. Again, we know who to blame. The SAX must have hacked into the system control file. What impressive intelligence. Is your objective clear? There's little time. Hurry to the control room in Sector 3.
6 minutes to main boiler explosion.
Hey, Busta. How's it going? It's we're doing what we can with what we got. Greasy, thank you.
Minute to main boiler explosion.
You know, when you think about the fact that she's doing all this without, like, any real armor, you learn how to use Chatterino. That's good. It's good software. It's helped me a lot.
Minute to main boiler explosion.
Whoa. I don't know what just happened there. Cute. Welcome back, Dan. Oh. The station is melting down. I got ice missiles, and the X is trying to actively destroy the facility. Wide beam. We now have the trans beam. Yeah, doing all this without any real armor. She's doing this with just her skin. Just her fibro skin, because her actual armor's gone. They surgically had to remove it. That's what the SAX is currently walking around in, is pieces of her muscle and her armor. Where are we at? Ow. The data room. Already went to the data room here. Hmm. Hmm. I see. Oh, right, you can't do that here. Wait, what? I'm so confused. What? Huh? What did I just... Huh? Oh. Good. The advocates mimicked a crew member. It all makes sense now. The X can absorb the memories and knowledge of their prey. What an astounding find! HQ was very impressed. But don't you find it strange? This could have destroyed the station with the X in it, not to mention the SAX. Unusual for a self-preserving species like the X unless... Your presence is an even greater threat, a threat to the existence of X elsewhere. This is only a hypothesis. Perhaps their survival instinct is in conflict with their newly borrowed intelligence. Don't let your guard down yet. And the X are still a threat. Samus, I see biosigns on the habitation deck. Survivors? The infected crewman you saw just now had survived until recently. Maybe there's a chance. The signs emanate from here. Is your objective clear? I have just restored power to the main elevator. Use it to return and look for any survivors. Literally just started to work, so Leah, Nova, Sandwipe, and Curly. Aw? Well, I'm honored to be a part of that group. Need objectives this clear in the physical layer? God, that would be nice, right? I love the weird grunting noises they make. It's the Dakuns and the Dakamir! Hi! Or Dakora. It's good to see you! I'm glad that you're still around. And I'm glad I saved you. It's good to see friends. You don't see them very often in this series. Oh. Dakara. Yeah, so I didn't do what I was expected to do there, apparently. Daiquiri monkey cats. Got it. Affirmative. I'm a little confused as to what I'm supposed to do in this room. I don't remember. And I hate it when I have these moments because, like, usually I generally know what I'm doing. But right now? Right now the answer is no. Alright, we'll try going one step lower. Which it says in order to do that, I have to drop down. Oh, I didn't even see the hatch was open. And this happens every time. I know this hatch exists. Because every time that I come through it, I'm like, damn it, I know this hatch exists. And I know that it took me way too long to come through here. Every time. Hello. Be safe, my little friends. Oh, you had a hatchling. Oh, Bird Mom is happy. Etacoons and Decoras. I've met these intelligent beings before. They seem to recognize me as well. How unusual to meet again here. In the past, they've helped me unleash abilities I didn't know I had. But where did they run to? I hope they're safe. God, no! Uh. Let's see. There's a data room up there and a nav room up there. I could go back to my ship. Take a second to actually explore around here. Hello, you. I forgot about those, like, super early ones. So the survivors were not human. Most unfortunate. We can now confirm the deaths of all crew members. I imagined this was the case, but I had hoped it wasn't so. I believe the X only infected the humans for knowledge. That form is too weak for battle. I'm sure the others were merely food for the X. Samus, I think they're evolving, growing stronger. Some areas are now appearing that resist your current weapons. HQ anticipated this and sent power bomb data as soon as the hardware team finished it. Is your objective clear? Download it immediately. Our choice of data rooms is limited to the one in Sector 5. Go. Now. What if a bird mom was so angry? So angry. You've been to this data room before, but I'll show you its position again. Is your objective clear? Now move out. This is the point where I do want to save, because things are going to speed up from here. Let's see. What? What? Nearly got my hand clipped inside that thing. What? Huh? Huh? So now I gotta think of where I want to go with this. I guess back to the nav room for now, because I don't know what I would open with it per se. Right. Okay. We have to loot. Huh. Wait, is she still... She's walking back? Why is she walking back? This is just a... You have to run. Of course she nuked that. Too far. Why is that? Being able to see and hear all? Uh, Dan can no longer escape you. Valid. I'm not doing it. I'm not going after it. It's not even a combat thing. It's just a tool thing. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't even care. I don't even care. I don't care. I'm so not caring right now. Other way around, BC. I love this scene. Samus, return to your ship. I have important information. All the music gone. Just gonna point that out. It is important information about our extended Starship warranty. Remember, that Starship is a rental. Yeah, the music's so good throughout all of this. It's very interesting when the game takes it away. These guys are freaky as hell. Like, legitimately scary. Do not know what species they're supposed to be. Yeah, they look a lot like them. I wonder if I went into the nav room. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what gets said out here at our spaceship, our rental. I remember this room being interesting too. Yeah. Very interesting. Can't move those yet though. The main silo of the reactor core has gone offline. That's why all elevators and station systems are down. Elevators and hatches won't work. This doesn't bode well. If you can get to this point, you may be able to start the auxiliary power system. Then we can figure out why the main silo went offline. Is your objective clear? By the way, I asked you to return here to tell you. Some strange creatures have boarded your ship. I confirmed they were not ex-hosts and gave them a berth. Do you know anything about these strange creatures? Were they the source of the healthy biosigns earlier? Very well then. Their presence in the midst of this disaster must have some significance. I will keep them here. He's protecting our family. That means a lot. Okay. Oh, they hatched. Very large security door. I have to press up against those walls. Fake space pirate, an X-based space pirate. Why were there space pirate samples on the ship? I love how this is like the out-of-bounds section of the ship. Shit got wacky. Wow. Well, that went well. I have to go through all that puzzling again. Ah. Wait, what? Do I have to go talk to him again? That's silly. None of this matters. None of this matters. None of this matters. None of this matters. Everything is false. Ugh. Oh wow, that didn't actually give me full health. That kinda sucks. A lot. Something strangely human about this thing's face. It's that thing from the DVD venue. What a weird enemy. Space jump. Oh! Oh! That's why it was doing the weird flippy thing, because it was doing this. One moment. I just eaten a mouthful of chips. Save rooms and recharge rooms are now back online, but with only auxiliary power, only elevators or no elevators or hatches will work. Without the main silo online, we're still stuck. I believe the source of the problem is the vegetation you saw earlier choking the reactor core components. I am so tired. Is your objective clear? We'll have to find the source of those roots to proceed. We must go even lower. Oh, hatches don't work, right. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Patches don't work. Plasma beam ability recovered. Beam now pierces enemies. Hmm. What does that leave us with here? You can see what's down and to the left. Let's go take a look. Oh, that's nice. Can just one-shot those now. Ah. Huh. Ah. Hmm. Like powerbomb tank if I manage to get it all. I don't have the dexterity necessary to perform this task right now. So we'll move on. Go down to the left again. See what's down here. Oh, I see. Never mind. This is a one-way gate. Okay, that's all pretty direct, except that. Let's see, will let me go lower. Yes, it will. I remember you guys. I could have sworn there was some other thing I could do on the right side there, but I guess not. Or at least not yet. Day room. I'm so glad I just saved. Honestly, what the hell? Take a drink here real quick. Have a good night, Jarvie. Uh, Relight my joint and we'll continue. Cheers, everyone. A lot of these enemies don't exist until you are on the screen with them, which is very frustrating. I love healing in this game. There we go. You know what? Let's save. It wasn't likely that we were going to get a red there. Oh, thank you for the thank you for the resubscription, Ami. Aww. This minute, people arrive. Thembun salute. Okay, that does all for there. I don't know why I went to the save room. Other than to verify that, hey, you can actually get to that data room. And Adam was lying to us. How's your day going, hon? Really busy, but now you can relax. I'm glad, hon. It's It's been a hectic day for me. But I'm glad to be gaming with folks. It's nice to actually get to chill out. What? You've restored plasma beam functionality? Most unexpected. Even so, continue to avoid the SAX. It too may be stronger. And if you still lack a few abilities crucial to survival... Wait a second. More trouble, hold on. I've isolated the cause. There's been an explosion in the ARC data room. Samus, go to Sector 5. Is your objective clear? The damage is staggering. Find out what's causing it. It's gotten worse. The damage seems to have been caused by a creature kept here by the researchers who named it the Nightmare. Apparently, it was a biomechanical organism designed for military applications. It possesses uncommon power and can manipulate gravity. We must assume that it's become an ex-host. We have no choice. You must find it and defeat it. I cannot confirm the location. Is your objective clear? This thing is out of control. Hurry before it destroys the entire station. Well, found the damage. Just need to follow the path now. Huh? Yes, let's go outside the station. Brilliant. You've played Metroid Other M. This creature may be familiar to you. I haven't. And I wish that I had, but I haven't. My arms are getting tired. Okay, let's see if I can remember the routing. Because this shouldn't be too much harder now. It's always easier the second time, but... Dang, it doesn't wear on you after a while. Especially when, like, I actually know this map semi-decently. It's also that I'm doing a bit of exploration along the way, but, like... I don't know. Let's continue. Don't need to check on any of that because it's a power bomb tank. The missing save room. Thank you, Tony Montana. Yes, that is correct. You can absolutely use power bombs to bomb scan in the game. And it does help, when you're looking for a secret. In this case, though. Let's see. Let's see what, doing a power bomb here can do to help me. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. It does help. I had forgotten there was an upgrade right before this boss. Fine, fine. We're just gonna nuke the hell out of you until you start using that. Yeah, go ahead. Uh-huh. No. Sometimes you can kind of get lucky with the positioning in this. Other times you can get really screwed over. This enemy is so miserable. I legitimately don't understand the nightmare as a creature, and it feels like one of the more, real attempts from the X try and get like a good lot on life because it's a powerful entity. Mm. I shouldn't have gone for that extra jump right then. Oh, snap. I think I just went through that without even grabbing the upgrade. Tried to make a Mega Man boss! It's an apt description, honestly. Oh, fuck! As long as I keep injuring it, it'll keep dropping more healing X. Gravity suit effect recovered. Move freely in water. It's time to be elite Metroid color. Or space pirate color, depending on how you want to look at it. Now I can do this. Yeah, that was rough. Run back over here, run back over here. Mer pirate. I love how the other parts of the ship are like more of actual habitats rather than just various science locations, or what feels even more like a zoo in a lot of cases. Breaking out of the habitat. Ah. The hell? Hmm. Okay. This is feeling more and more like I broke into something I wasn't supposed to. Or at least not yet. It's hard to say. Nope, that's it for that one too. So what is the way out? Oh no. Oh, I see. No, that's not it either. Let's try going the other direction, huh? Ah! Ah. Oh. Oh no. Hmm. Yeah, I'm feeling it too. I'm feeling kind of let's see. Am I not supposed to be here? Is that what this is? Is this not a matter of backtracking and more a matter of I'm just not supposed to be here? No. This is where I'm supposed to be. So what am I missing here? And it shows me all the way down to the bottom left. We're gonna try a few things, honestly. The data rooms are always far away from the lock rooms, and it's a red lock down there. It has to be down there. That has to be the place. Found it. Alright. Good. That resolves a lot of confusion. So what does it open up for us? I mean, literally every door in the entire game. Let's head east, I suppose. Nothing quite like... I just remember to have concussive missiles that I can use on these guys. Oh, wow. They got some serious armor. That's for one-way getting back, which isn't actually what I need at all. Yes, same deal. Okay. Can't get in there yet. I see. I see. I see. Okay, I get it. Diffusion added to missiles. Charge with R, fire with B. These are fun. So now all of my missiles. Do that. This allows me to do some different things. So let's go back. Okay, wow. Okay, so that's a one way. You upgraded your missiles. That's unusual. There was no word from HQ. A procedural error, I'm sure. Even so, I did not approve of bypassing security level 4. From now on, you will use more discretion. In any case, Samus, do you remember the security robot you faced earlier? I believe the X have infected it. That is to say, they've claimed the organic components to form its neural network. It has entered Sector 6. I don't know what it's planning, but let's not wait to find out. Samus, you know what to do. Is your objective clear? To Sector 6. Yeah, big explosion. And the diffusion ability to, like, take out certain blocks. Hmm. Oh. Just seeing what other, like, level 6 security doors there are. Level 4. Okay. The security robot seems to have gotten much stronger. This worries me. Be careful. But we have another problem. Once you're done, leave knock immediately. The SAX is tracking you. Is your objective clear? Don't stay longer than you must. Understood. Interesting.
Warning, no entry without authorization. 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 Warning, no entry without authorization.
Now I can hear me.
Warning, no entry without authorization.
Oh no. Oh no! I think I just. Oh no. I closed the program. I didn't know that was a hotkey. Alright, one sec. Puppy Gamer. This directory. This directory. No, not that. Not that one. Not that one. This one. Oh, I can't believe I just did that. hopefully this... Yep, cool.
Warning, no entry without authorization. No entry without authorization. Warning, no entry without authorization. Warning, no entry without authorization.
I'm accidentally hitting... Yeah, okay. At least I know what I'm doing now. Uh... No. Okay. I think my hand dexterity may actually be failing me for the night. We've had a decent run. I think we're gonna call it. My hands hurt. My wrists hurt. I want to keep playing, but I don't think I can. So, yeah. Let's see if we win a raid. Beep bop beep doop boop boop it up and all that fun stuff. Let's change a few buttons over here and go over here and go over here and go over here. And who's on? All dudes it is. Okay. Thank you everybody for dropping in tonight. Everybody who stuck through all the problems that we've had this evening and the general stress of it all. I hope that tomorrow things are a little bit easier. If not for me, then at least for you folks. And I hope to see you again. About 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If anything changes, I will let you know. You folks have a lovely evening. Thank you all for those that took part in the chat, all those that hung out in the background, and all those that are watching the VODs. We'll see you all again soon. Love you all. Yeah. See you soon.